तो स्टार्ट करें।
हाँ,
Good afternoon to respected President sir, respected Director sir, my colleague and my dear student. I, Rajkumar Tiwari, working as Assistant Professor in Dr. K.N. Maipar, is the Faculty Coordinator for today's webinar entitled Insulin, Its Role in Diabetes. This webinar will be presented by our two B Form first year students, that is Mr. Vikas Ranjan Sahi and Mr. Anurag Sahi. In this regard, I would like our respected director sir to throw some lighting on this webinar. Sir, please.
respected President Sir, my dear colleagues and my dear students, this is the next webinar in our webinar series being organized by Dr. K. Modi Foundation. And today, we from first year students will witness the presentation by Mr. Vikas Ranjan and Mr. Anurag. So, I am hopeful that this webinar will be highly beneficial for the preparation of exams for all the students. It is a very important topic from examination point of view, insulin and its role in the diabetes. So all the students are requested to pay serious attention in the webinar. After the webinar, you can give your questions to us, and it will the question will be suitably answered by the presenters or by your subject teacher. So all the best for the webinar. Rajkumar ji, start.
Thank you.
Vikas,
Yes, sir.
please start
Can I
your
start?
presentation.
Okay, sir. Good evening to respected director, sir, faculty member, and seniors, and all my batchmates. Myself, Vikas Ranjan Sai from B Form first year, is going to present a webinar on the topic insulin and its role on diabetes. First, before starting the topic, first of all, I would like to thank Rajkumar sir for giving me a golden opportunities to present a webinar. So I will carry this with presenting the slide with PPT. Sir, can
Yeah, share your presentation. Screen
yes,
share
sir.
करो विकास.
Yes, sir. हो रहा है.
हाँ, आ गया. Start करो.
In this content, we will discuss different subtopics, that is a definition of hormone, pancreas, introduction of insulin, chemistry of insulin, biosynthesis of insulin, action of insulin, and there are some factors which affect the insulin secretion, and their brand name of insulin in the market. So we'll start first with the definition of insulin. So first, as we know that hormone act as a fuel in our body. So from the definition, we can say that it is a chemical messenger which is needed in a small amount to accelerate or inhibit, means the metabolic activities for the target organ which is required to accelerate or inhibit is done by the chemical messenger that is known as hormone. And as we know that there are mainly 50 types of hormone which is present in our body which is secreted. So on the basis of their chemical nature, they are categorized into the three types. The first one is the protein, on the basis of protein, and the second one is on the basis of steroid hormone, and the third one is on the basis of amino acid. The first one is the protein or polypeptide hormone, which we can say that the protein hormone is basically the example we can say that follicle stimulating hormone that is basically released from the female reproductive organ is one of the example of protein or polypeptide hormone. And the second one is steroid, means as we know that there are different types of steroid hormone are present, that is we can say that two are there, glucocorticoid and that is stereocorticoid or mineralocorticoid. They are basically steroid hormone. As we can say that they are also known as a natural hormone which is released in our body. And the last one is amino acid based classification, that is epinephrine and non-epinephrine. There are two types of amino acid classified, that is epinephrine and non-epinephrine. So now, as we know that pancreas, one of the endocrine gland of our body, like different others, pineal gland, pituitary gland, they are the example of endocrine gland. So in that, one gland is there, that is pancreas. So as we know that it is basically 80 in weight, we can say that it is about 80 gram, and it plays an important role in converting the food that we eat into the what we can say, into the fuel for our body. And it is also known as mixed gland. Why it is known as mixed gland? Because in this pancreas there is a two parts which is known as exocrine and endocrine. The exocrine is basically responsible for the digestion, and the second part is endocrine, which is generally responsible for the secretion of insulin. So we will discuss later. So roughly 99% of the cell of pancreas are arranged in the cluster form, means they are combined together and form a cluster, and that cells are known as acinar cell. And as we know that one important feature of endocrine cell, that is islet of Langerhans, from where the insulin secretion takes place, that is islet of Langerhans, where 1 to 2% of pancreas volume it contain, and receive 10 to 15% of its blood flow, means it's having the 10 to 15% amount of is into the blood. And its important function is responsible for production of release hormone that regulate the glucose blood level. So here we can see in the diagram that is its location is behind the stomach. We can see in the PPT. So here in exocrine parts, there is a two parts. One part is duct cell and acinar cell. And in endo part, that is islet of Langerhans cell is there. So in duct, what is the special features of the duct cell? So we can say that it secretes sodium bicarbonate solution, which is helpful in the digestion of food. And the acinar cell also help in the it's release some digestive enzyme which is responsible for the digestion. Means if we say that exocrine contain two parts, that is duct cell and acinar cell. So these are the two parts of exocrine cell, and the endocrine cell that is known as islet of Langerhans. I will discuss here islet of Langerhans. It is also termed as an island of Langerhans because it has irregular shape which is present in the endocrine tissue of pancreas. It was named by a German physician whose name was Paul Langerhans, who discovered in 1969. And now we'll see the different types of cell which is present in islet of Langerhans. There are basically four types of cell which is secreted into the cell, that is alpha cell, beta cell, delta cell, and F cell. F cell means the alpha cell is generally secrete glucagon, beta cell secrete insulin, and delta cell secrete a somatostatin, and F cell, that is a protease polypeptide. They are the different cell which is responsible for the secretion of different enzyme. So first we'll discuss some features, special feature about glucagon. Means it prevent the glucose level dropping not too low, means it should not maintain it, means it should not be go too low or it should not be go too high. Its main feature is to maintain the blood glucose level, and it also stimulates the conversion of glycogen to glucose. That process basically we say that glucosenolysis, means where the conversion of glycogen takes place, and glycogen is converted into the glucose, and the process is known as glycosenolysis. And the second one is the insulin, which is secreted from the beta cell. It's help our blood sugar level getting too high or getting too low. The two terms which we say that hyperglycemia and hypoglycemia. Hyper, we can say that hyper, from its name only it is clear that hyper means more secretion, means in large amount, and hypo means in low amount. So it maintains the regulation of blood sugar. And somatostatin, it also inhibits the secretion of pancreatic hormones such as glucagon and insulin. Its main important function is to it inhibit the secretion of glucagon and insulin. And F cell is inhibit the pancreatic exocrine cell, means it inhibit other three cells which is released from the islet of Langerhans. So from here we can say that in diagram here in the liver, stomach and intestine, in the B diagram we can see around the, means just about the duodenum, the pancreas is present, and in that we can see that exocrine cell and different acinar cells are present. So now we will discuss about the insulin, the main topic, insulin. So first we will see that history of insulin, from where it is originated or started. So the two scientists were there, that is Dr. Frederick Banting and Charles Best, the two scientists who discovered the insulin from dog pancreas in 1921. And they got the Nobel Prize in 1932. And the word which is come from the Latin word insula, means island. Now we will discuss some characteristic features of insulin. As we know that the first one is the, we can see here, a polypeptide hormone, means from name only it is clear that polypeptide means, poly means we can say that many, and peptide means protein, means we can say that the too many, the protein is formed by the amino acid. So we can say that the group of amino acid which is formed and make a polypeptide hormone. So insulin is a polypeptide hormone which is secreted from beta cell of islet of Langerhans, which is located in the pancreas. It also regulates the metabolic activity, as we know that it is important for the regulation of carbohydrate, fats and protein. And most important, it is an anabolic hormone, because there are two types of basically hormone, that is anabolic and catabolic. Anabolic, we can say that building up, means it's build up the combination of protein, or we can say amino acid, means it is building up, and the catabolism means to break down. So insulin is an anabolic hormone, and it is the first hormone which was isolated and purified, and it was first insulin was the first which was sequenced, and it was also the first one, first hormone which was produced by the DNA technology. So in the, now we discuss about the chemistry of insulin, how what are the chain or what are the amino acid which are required for the making the insulin. So first the chemical nature which was given by the Sanger, and basically it contains 51 amino acid. We can say that it is arranged by the two polypeptide chain. It contains chain A and chain B, in which chain A 21 amino acid is present, and in chain B 30 amino acid is present. Here it is interchain, means there is a disulfide base which is connected interchain and intrachain. So first we will clear that what is the difference between interchain and intrachain. Interchain, we can say that means the two different, means here we talking about the chain A and chain B. If the amino acid of chain and chain B is interconnected, then it is called interchain. And if intrachain, means same chain is connected internally, means of same chain, that is here it is given A6, chain A6 and A11, means same chain is attached. So here we can see that how the insulin is connected with the disulfide bond. And now we discuss about some insulin, biosynthesis of insulin. So it's generally, it generally takes place in the three process. First, we'll discuss about the synthesis of pre-insulin, then the conversion of pre-insulin into the pre-insulin, and then conversion of pro-insulin into the insulin. So from here PPT, we can say that there is earlier I have discussed that pancreas contain mainly two parts, that is exocrine and endocrine. In exocrine, there is a two cell, that is duct cell and acinar cell. Which is responsible for the digestive system, and the endocrine is responsible for the secretion of insulin. So from here we can say that there are different types of cells that we have discussed, that is glucagon, insulin, somatostatin, and pancreatic polypeptide. Means in between the islet of Langerhans, in between the beta cell is there, and surrounding them insulin, and surrounding them glucagon, somatostatin, and pancreatic polypeptide is there. And one important features of islet of Langerhans is it contain 1 to 2 million in number and occupy 1% only, 1% of pancreas. So from here we can see in the flow chart here how the synthesis of insulin takes place. So basically the gene which is responsible for synthesis of insulin is present in the chromosome number 11, and from there only the transcription, means transcription we can say that DNA to RNA, means conversion of DNA to RNA is known as transcription. From here, so mRNA of insulin gene is converted from there in ribosome. Pre-proinsulin is formed in cytoplasm. Pre-proinsulin enters into the rough endoplasmic reticulum, and from there it becomes proinsulin. From proinsulin it reaches to Golgi complex, where we can say that Golgi complex is also a protein factory, and from there the insulin and C-peptide is formed, which is stored in the vesicles. Basically insulin is found in low concentration. It is in what we can say that less concentration. It is fused highly, means its diffusion rate is high, so it is catalyzed with zinc to make hexamer, so it cannot be diffused easily into the blood. So these are the mechanism, or we can say that biosynthesis of insulin. So after that it's formed in active form. So then generally it has chain A, chain B, and C peptide. So we can say that chain A and chain B are active insulin. So from here one enzyme, that is beta synthetase, is responsible, that changes the pre-proinsulin into the proinsulin into the active insulin. So here we can say that the C peptide is differentiated from the active insulin, because generally C peptide does not play an important role in biological activity. So the active form is chain A and chain B, that is only called active insulin. Here we can also see that synthesis of proinsulin takes place first, then conversion of pre-proinsulin to proinsulin. Again, that proinsulin is converted into the insulin and C-peptide into Golgi apparatus. And I have already said that it has the C-peptide has does not have any biological activity into the insulin. Now we come to know that amount of insulin secretion daily. So about 45 to 50 units secreted daily by the human pancreas, and the normal value is 20 to 30 units per milliliter. It is the amount of secretion, which amount of insulin secreted per day. Now we come to know about the half-life of insulin. First, we should understand what is the definition. We study in physics half-life, but here in biology term, we can say that it is a different from the biological point of view. Means half-time is a time which is required for the activity of substance taken into the body to lose 1/2 of its initial effectiveness. Means the initial half should be lose to show the effective of that substance. So that is the definition of a half-life of insulin. And the one important feature is that there is an enzyme, that is insulinase, which degraded the insulin into the liver, that is liver and kidney by cleavage of disulfide bond. So disulfide bond, and we can say that liver in which the heparin is also released, and the enzyme hepatic glutathione insulin transhydrogenase, which reduces the disulfide bond individually into the chain A and chain B, and it means the two chain A and chain B is degraded by the one enzyme, that is hepatic glutathione insulin transhydrogenase, which is responsible to differentiate, means it can be easily degrade. Like we can say that there are two chain A and chain B. So the enzyme which is responsible for degradation of chain A and chain B is hepatic glutathione insulin transhydrogenase. Now we'll see about the action of insulin, how it is actioning. So here we can say that first we'll discuss that in roughly I can say that there are tetramers. So basically there are two subunits, 2A and 2B subunits are present, and the 2A subunits is responsible, which lies on the outside of cell membrane, and it is a hormone binding domain. The 2A subunit is hormone binding, and 2B is basically the ATP binding site, and that is trisinose. Trisinose is responsible, which is present in the cell membrane, and it also helps in protrude, means it passes from cytoplasm into the cell. So from here we can say that first what happens when we eat, some amount of glucose released in our blood, and by that only the liver and muscle cell take up the glucose. As the glucose taken by the muscles or liver cell, the glucose level, blood glucose level fall. And here we can say that diagram here, action of insulin, in which given that alpha subunit and beta subunit. Basically it is tetramer. Tetra means 4. So 2 subunit of alpha subunit and 2B of beta subunit, that is ATP binding site and tyrokinase domain. Now we'll see here, when first the insulin bind with the alpha subunit outside the cell, and after it protrude, means it passes through the cell membrane and get autophosphorylated. Autophosphorylated by its word only, it is clear that auto means itself and phosphorylated means the phosphorus group. Means we can make the definition, the auto means when a phosphorus group is attached, means it is a biochemical process in which the phosphorus is added by a protein kinase by itself, and the process is known as autophosphorylated. And then it is connected with the beta subunit of receptor, which activate the local tyrosine kinase, which in turns it cause the phosphorylation of multiple other intracellular enzyme, that is insulin receptor substrate. So we can say that the net effect which activates the enzyme and inactivate others. So in this way we can say that insulin direct the intracellular metabolic machinery, which produce the desired amount of carbohydrate, fats and protein. The main we can say that the main important things of action of insulin is it causes the permeability to the cell from permeable to glucose, means it make the cell to become more permeable to glucose. Now here are the some factors which affect the insulin secretion. We can say here factor that stimulate the insulin secretion, like glucose, amino acid, fatty acid and gastrointestinal hormone. These are responsible that factor which stimulate the insulin secretion, and some are also there which are factor which inhibit the insulin secretion, like decreased blood glucose level, fasting and somatostatin. Now we come to the last, that is disorder of insulin, that is hypoactivity and hyperactivity. Means if the person is hypoactivity, then the disease is called diabetes mellitus, and hyperactivity is called hyperinsulinism. So this all about the insulin. Now I will ask to Anurag to continue further.
Thank you, Vikas. A warm and delicate afternoon to all present here. Worthy directors, sir, respected presidents, sir, teachers, alumni, sir, seniors, and all my fellow batchmates. Today, I, Anurag Kumar Shahi of BPharm first year, is going to speak something about insulin role in diabetes. So here I begin. So let's talk about insulin. To understand why insulin is important in diabetes, it helps us to know more about our body. As we all know, our body is made of millions of cells, and each cell needs energy for its functioning. So when we eat or drink, mostly our food broke down into simple sugar called glucose. Then glucose is transported through the bloodstream to the cells of our body, where it can be provide some of the energy which our body basically needs for daily activities. As we know, the amount of glucose in our bloodstream is tightly regulated by hormone insulin. Insulin is always been released in small amount by the pancreas. Sometimes when our glucose level reach up to a certain beyond normal level, so our pancreas releases insulin in small amount, and the glucose is then transferred from the blood to the cells so that our glucose level gets down. Let's talk about insulin and blood sugar level. Insulin helps control glucose level by signaling the liver muscles and cells to, to, to take up the glucose from the blood, and insulin therefore helps the cells to take in glucose to be used for energy. If we have sufficient amount of energy, insulin signals the liver to take up glucose. As we all know, glucose stores 5% of its mass as glycogen. To keep our blood glucose level from getting low, which we usually call hypoglycemia, our body signals us to eat or release some glucose from storage kept in the liver. So let's talk about now. There are two types of disorders. First is hypoactivity, which is diabetes mellitus, and hyperactivity, hyperinsulinemia, which I'm going to only talk about hyperactivity, that is diabetes mellitus. So here I begin. Diabetes mellitus, metabolic disorder characterized by high blood glucose level, which is hyperglycemia. Diabetes mellitus is a chronic disease caused by inherited or acquired deficiency in production of insulin by the pancreas. Or in diabetes mellitus 2, it is the ineffectiveness of insulin produce. Multi-organ gets damaged like kidney, eyes, blood vessels due to diabetes. India is the second world's largest diabetes population after China. As we all know, the name was coined by Thomas William in 1675. Diabetes is basically of two types. Type 1. Type 1, due to deficiency of insulin. It is caused due to destruction of beta cell in the islets of Langerhans by the T cell or auto antibodies. It is usually diagnosed in children or young age persons. It is also known as insulin independent diabetes. Now we talk about role of insulin in type 1 diabetes mellitus. In type 1, the body produces insufficient amount of insulin to regulate blood glucose level. Without the presence of insulin, many of body signals cannot take glucose from the blood, and therefore the body uses other source of energy like ketones, which are alternative form of energy which is secreted by liver. However, high level of ketones can lead to dangerous condition called ketoacidosis. People with type 1 diabetes will need to inject insulin to compensate for their body lack of insulin. Now let's talk about type 2 diabetes mellitus. It is due to insulin resistance. Insulin resistance means failure of insulin receptor to respond to the insulin. Body is unable to use insulin. About 90% in all over diabetes case, 90% of people suffer from these type 2 diabetes. It usually occur people more of age of 40 years. It is also known as non-insulin dependent diabetes mellitus. Type 2 diabetes characterized by the not responding effectively to the insulin by the receptors. As the result, the body is less able to take up glucose from the body. In early stage, as we know, in early stage, the diabetes, type 2 diabetes, the body respond by producing more insulin. More insulin, as we know, we need less amount of insulin, but due to certain condition, body produces more amount of insulin, due to which in over number of years, after many years, the body can't produce insulin as our body needs. So due to which it leads to the loss of insulin producing cells, which is known as pancreatic beta cell. People sometimes also take insulin injection to maintain their blood sugar level in type 2 diabetes also. Now let's talk about what causes type 2 diabetes mellitus. As we all know, in this, the body either does not produce or does not respond properly to the insulin. So it basically starts with insulin resistance. When the blood sugar level rise beyond the point, the body signals to pancreas to release insulin. Here, our insulin and cell wall has some receptors which is and insulin both act like lock and key. Insulin basically act like key, and cell wall receptors act like locks. Insulin fit in these locks and transport the glucose from the bloodstream to the cell. But due to type 2 diabetes, it does not work properly, and receptor does not respond properly. So our insulin does not work properly, and the glucose level in the blood gets rises and causes type 2 diabetes mellitus. Now let's talk about some symptoms. In both type of diabetes, there is increased thirst, frequent urination, extreme hunger. Diabetes patient needs to eat something from every certain hours, 2 to 3 hours. There is change in mood change, fatigue, and weakness in blood vision. He can't see properly. Let's talk about treatment. Combination of medication, lifestyle changes like diet and exercise. Mainly people used to take low sugar foods and used to sometimes take sugar free products to eat, and intake of insulin. Now we talk about drugs. Let's talk about metformin, which is the first line drug of type 2 diabetes. And it is given with proper diet and exercise program to control high blood sugar. So let's talk about its mechanism. It basically acts through 3 mechanisms. The first one is it decreases hepatic glucose production through a mild inhibition of mitochondrial respiratory chain complex, due to which our glyconeogenesis, glycogenolysis, fatty acid oxidation gets decreased, and which directly decreases the hyperglycemia, which means our glucose level in the blood is decreased and our glucose is transported to the cells. And the second is decreased intestinal absorption of glucose, due to which our anaerobic glucose metabolism increases, and it directly decreases the hyperglycemia, or it make us well for diabetes person. And let's talk about third, antioxidative property of metformin on endothelial cell. It directly affect the insulin mediated glucose uptake. It increases the uptake from the bloodstream and transfer to the cell. It increases glycogenesis, and it decreases fatty acid oxidation, which decreases hyperglycemia. That's all from my side. Thank you and have a nice day.
Thank you. Thank you, Vikas and Anurag, for your nice presentation. Now, I would like Mr. Desh Deepak to please share some few words about this webinar. Hello.
Good afternoon to respected director, sir, foundation president and faculty members. Thank you very much for inviting me. It was a nice experience with Dr. Kenamaithar. Today's webinar on insulin, its role in diabetes, is very important from the examination point of view. And I want to say to Vikas and Anurag, both of you, that your slide was very good. Your matter was also very good. And I also give this to my juniors for always growing in his career. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Desh Deepak. Now, I would like Director Sir to say some few words.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
It was a very nice presentation by BPharm first year students. I am thankful to Mr. Desh Deepak for his valuable comments, and I am hopeful that all of our students have all the best to presenters, and thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. And thank you all of you for attending this webinar. Thank you, sir.